Yeah, there is an app called Insight Timer, and that's quite popular. There's a bunch of apps out there, but that's one of them.
There's another one called Headspace, I think.
Right. Plus,
but that one, there's free things that you can do on Headspace, and then there's also a paid one, but you just use the free one. I haven't used it, but one of the groups I used to help run, a girl used it, and they said it was very helpful with the breathing, stuff like that.
That's another thing about breathing, because you know what? A lot of people just don't realize that when you breathe, you're better off with controlled breathing, and you're better off making sure that you're not breathing through your chest. Because when people are anxious, they're going, and their chest is going up and down like nuts. Their stomach needs to go out like a vocalist would do. If they focus on putting their hands on their stomach, count in for the count of 4, breathe in for the count of 4, hold for 4, and let out for 4, then do it to 7, then do it to 12, then go back to 4 again if you're still, that does help me a lot, that controlled breathing and making sure that every time I breathe in, my belly goes out, and every time I breathe out, my belly comes in, right? And that's a lot different, because once you start breathing from the chest and you're just taking deep breaths, then you're just hyperventilating in the end of it sometimes, right? If you're unlucky, right? So controlled breathing and counting, and holding and counting, and laying out and counting, and making sure that stomach's going in and out is pucker.
I'm putting my hand up to say something.
Oh, so, because you rated what I just said with maximum amount of respect.
So I also only use doTERRA oils. They are the most purest form of essential oils, because they take the plant or the seed or the fruit or whatever it is that's in the oil from the indigenous region of the world that it comes from. Like, for instance, lavender is grown in the US, but it does not come from the US. It comes from France. So the lavender that you get from doTERRA, which means from the earth, comes from France. So everything that they give you is the highest quality. So I use lavender. They also have one that is called Breathe, and it comes in a liquid form, and it also comes in a vapor stick form. And that is obviously to help you breathe if you have breathing issues. And it's also, I use it for anxiety. So when I can't take extra anxiety meds, I carry that bottle of Breathe with me, and you hold one nostril, breathe it in, hold the other nostril, breathe it in, and then you can hold it right in front of your mouth and go, and it's almost like you're calming yourself out of a panic attack. And then music is also another one, taking a nice warm hot bath, but you try and use like your 5 senses to try and pull you back into the present, so you're not freaking out about the past or what might happen or what could happen. So you want to use your 5 senses: sight, smell, touch, taste, and sound. So taste, like say you got, I don't know, a little piece of chocolate or candy, take it and just really like savor it, and don't just like eat it, but just take the time to taste whatever it is that you're tasting. Something to touch, find something like whether a pet animal or a stuffed animal or just something soft like a blanket, but anything that's going to pull you back into the present. And I've even seen some videos of a person would go out and actually buy something small each day and put that right there, because when they looked at it, they would know that that was something that happened that day, that time, and that was them being present. If that makes any sense.
Remember that thing where it's 5, you like look at 5 things around you and touch 4 around you and smell 4 things around you. And sometimes you run out of things to smell, so you better find something. So yeah, that's another good one, right? What's that? How does that go? Is it 5? Have I got it right? 5 things to look at that you can see around you.
Yep, you can do it that way. 5 things to look at, 5 things to touch, 5 things to taste, 5 things to hear, 5 things to smell.
No, but you can't really smell and taste 5 things unless you get up and start going around the kitchen, opening up bottles of stuff to smell.
Well, this kind of goes along the lines of when I said like setting up a physical coping tools box.
Okay.
So that would be something that you did when you're not freaking out and panicking, like you would say like, okay, these are my smells that comfort me. So you might say lavender, cinnamon, whatever, perfume, cologne, whatever smells you like. You can put them on an index card.
Right. Okay.
And then you can put a little, like make yourself a little recipe box or something. And then you can like even take something soft if you wanted to off of something, put that on an index card. And then you just reach for your box and you'd have something on each card to pull out and it'd be right there for you. So it's kind of like a first aid kit that you're building in physical form. But don't do it when you're stressed out and like, nothing's calming me down. You got to do it when you're like, okay, these are things that do, and then set it up for yourself, which is also kind of calming and alerting to you to what makes you feel safe. And then actually making a physical one that you can keep right next to you for when you do freak out. So that would be how I would do the 5 all at once. I would actually put it into a little thing that you can just pull out.
Okay, so
that would be my idea.
So when you're feeling all anxiety, you just pull the box out. You pull your box of tricks out, and then you can sit there, smell some bottles of different things. Now, what's them things you told me about you smelling before?
Oh yes, doTERRA. It's spelled D-O.
Is that the manufacturer or what?
That's the manufacturer. And you can actually, you used to be only able to get it off their website, but you can now get it off of Amazon.
Okay, good. So that's doTERRA, right?
Yeah, just things we do when we're stressed. We were talking about essential oils, hot baths, music. I know for you, you like taking walks. That's a good coping skill. I think coming into these groups, even sometimes when I really don't feel like I have the energy, I think for me, that's a good coping mechanism to just push myself and say, get your ass in there and do it. Controlled breathing. Yep.
That's what you said with those things that you smell is have a box, a kit box.
Oh, right. So
things in it.
I've talked about this before about making an actual physical coping skills thing, which they actually call a mental first aid health kit. So this would be something that you would do when you're not in a panic mode. And you might take like a box with some index cards on it or something, or like little things that you can set up in here. And because a lot of times what Brett was saying is like, look around and pick 5 things you can see, 5 things you can taste, hear, smell, and touch. Well, Brett was saying, well, if you're in a room, you'd have to be like running around trying to find all these things. And I said, well, no, you do this when you're not in that. So say you like lavender, which I know most of us do. Any other smell you might like a perfume, a shampoo, anything, put 5 smells onto an index card or something, put that in a box, find something soft that either will fit in the box or that you could like pull off of something and put on an index card and then you can touch it. Some things that you could taste. That could be, that one's a little bit trickier, but I mean, there's something you could do about that. Like even if there's go ahead.
Right, when I was, when I saw it, I'm sure it was 5 things you can touch immediately around you, 5 things you can see, 4 things you can touch, 3 things.
Okay, so it goes down, yeah.
And then 2 and 1, and that I found it easier, and also I felt like I'd achieved something because I did the goal. Whereas if you know what I mean, I've got to get a box out, 5 of that, 5 of that, 5 of that, and 5 of that.
No, I think you're right. I think it is 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Yeah, when it's 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, I found that one a little bit easier to deal with. Whereas some other people might prefer to go the whole 5 of everything and have a kit box, emergency kit box on hand. So it's all good, really. But I just can't think of the 3 things that you do in the 2 things. I think the 2 things would be what you can smell, and the 1 thing would be what you can taste.
Right.
4 things you can touch, 3 things you can smell, maybe.
Hear.
Oh,
hear.
Yeah, 3 things you can hear. Right. 2 things you can smell and 1 thing you can taste, right?
Yes.
Okay then. So with that one, I'm just thinking because this is being recorded, so you know, we've repeated ourselves quite a lot, so whoever's listening, sorry about that. But we're trying to nail it down, right?